welcome to Side Streets and Intersections here at IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, Angela Chen. And just as a reminder, please download the app on iHeartRadio, Side Streets and Intersections here on IntellectualRadio.com. We are an iHeartRadio station. I can be heard on Spreaker, Facebook Live, IntellectualRadio.com, YouTube, and we've also picked up Alexia on Amazon. So we are doing some big things here at IntellectualRadio.com. And I just want to remind my viewers and my listeners that I did promise you that we would do a part 2 on the subject matter, the future of money. So I want to welcome back Mr. Barry White. Not the singer, even though he has the voice like it. He's not the singer, but what he is an entrepreneur who can tell you a lot about money. So welcome back, Mr. White.
And it's good to be back.
Thank you. So we left off talking about Bitcoin.
While we're on that subject, when we were here last time, Bitcoin was at 4,200. Since and that's been just a few weeks ago. Now it's at 5,800. It hit an all-time high of 6,130, I think it was.
Wow. So you guys have heard it. Now there's some skepticism out there about it also. Can you talk about some of the skepticism? I've been reading just some of the information with regard to some of the banks or the government. There's some, when something is good, how people try to come in and try to use some form of scare tactic to steer people away, becoming independent of these systems.
Always. And that's the sad thing, because I've been around for a while, and I was there when computers came to retail, and I saw how people were slow to adapt to them. And I'm going to break it down a little bit more. Our people were slow to adapt.
We'll break it on
them.
down.
Okay.
Break it on down.
And and they just didn't get it. But now there's a computer in every home, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes some homes 3 or 4, but we're always the last. And so now it's the same thing happening with cryptocurrency. Yes, a lot of people probably heard Jamie Dimon said it's fraud, it's a scam. Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JP Morgan and chairman of the board. A lot of respect for the man. But wasn't he also part of the too big to fail? And so he's got it wrong before too.
Absolutely.
But people like Bill Gates of Virgin, and a lot of other reputable people are all behind the blockchain and cryptocurrency. And so I think I'd rather roll with them than some of the skeptics. And on the same hand, while he came out against Bitcoin, he's embracing the technology in which Bitcoin was built upon, the blockchain, into JP Morgan.
So just for our viewers and listeners who didn't get what blockchain is, can you kind of define what that is?
That's the technology in which cryptocurrency resides. Just picture thousands and thousands of computers and all having the same ledger or the same information. So if you hack into one, it just alienates that one computer, but it verifies all the rest. And so it's the most secure way of transferring any type of important documents, including medical records and anything else.
And I think that that's very vital, seeing that Yahoo just had the big thing where thousands of initially like 14 million, 7 million, and it has since quadrupled in terms of the information that has been compromised. I being a Yah.
And Equifax.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, if they were on the blockchain, I doubt if that could have happened.
Absolutely. So how does a person who's interested in learning about this blockchain, how do they get to you?
Okay, well, not to ring the wrong bell, but people can contact me. First of all, they can text Barry, that's with an A, Barry, to 72727, and they can get my bio and my information and contact me. I'm always having webinars and seminars, and I try to keep my fees down very low and reasonable so that I can get out to the masses. Because I really important to me to get the message out there and to educate people. And of course, I got a horse and race, but I don't self promote what I'm doing. I talk about the whole industry so everybody can get a horse in the race. So if they don't like my horse, they can bet on some horse. Just get in the race.
And that's one of the things that I can say that I think why we've had a friendship for so many years is because the one thing that I do understand about you is that you try to bring other people along. And that is your whole thing. You could be room, and I've been around certain circumstances where you were the richest person in the room, and but not just from a financial standpoint, but from the knowledge and the knowledge that you were giving other people free of charge. And so we understand that knowledge is power. The difference between those that are enriched and those that are not is the access to the information and how they apply it.
Exactly. Unfortunately, a lot of times we're not called to the table about things like cryptocurrency, because Bitcoin started out at 2 cents. Putting just $100 into something, and then just a few years later, it'd be worth millions and millions.
Wow.
And it happened to people. I didn't hear about it. If I had heard about it, I would have shouted from the loudest mountain. But we wasn't there, unfortunately. But found out about a few other ones that's up and coming. I'm letting people know.
So I'm interested. I'm very, very interested.
One of the ones that I'm most passionate about is Big Key. Because for one, it's an American company that's supporting it. That's Big Quick. And they're in Dallas, Texas. Okay, so you can touch and feel it, because the most skeptics say, well, they're overseas, they can shut down and run away. Yes, that's true. Still,
but we didn't have some companies in America to shut down and run away with some money.
Exactly. And so that gives them a warm and fuzzy. That's the fact that people can acquire coins for as little as free.
Okay.
Just by where they shop.
Okay, so how do they acquire these coins for free?
It's certain merchants that have a reward program where when you shop with them, they'll reward you with this Big Key. I'm old school. I know you're too young to know about S&H green stamps, but
no, I do remember.
Okay.
I'm not that young, but I'm not that old. But I do remember the green stamps, and I'll remember the plastic coins too.
Right, exactly.
Right. And stamps.
So just imagine moving that into the future, and instead of green stamps, you're acquiring cryptocurrency. So it's the same thing, just with a different spin on
it. And the technology is different.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so all have heard here on Sidestreets and Intersections on IntellectualRadio.com. And if you have any questions regarding the subject matter, the future of money, please do not hesitate to call 708-223-8953. And I just want to remind you that we here at Sidestreets and Intersections, we just picked up the account with Alexia on Amazon, so we're heard on Alexia. We are an iHeartRadio station, Facebook Live, Spreaker, YouTube. I mean, the list is growing. And so I'm just excited to be in on the ground level, but the ground level. And the one thing that I have learned in these 46 years, got a birthday coming up, as a matter of fact, in these 46 years, is that it's not just enough to align yourself with people who have information. Make sure you get the information that they have.
Yeah. And let me say something on that, because a lot of people, nobody has acquired a certain amount of wealth. They want, and say, hey, give me some. But what they don't realize is that the most important thing is say, can you teach me? To learn how to fish, then you'll eat the rest of your life, because somebody can feed you for one day, but you'll be hungry tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And so, I love teaching people to fish, to acquire wealth, because now they're creating legacy. Because when I touch that one life, that's touching many, because they're changing, and they'll build a legacy for their family and their friends. And
let me just say this. It is truly unfortunate that for the African American community that we are usually the last people to find out information that could have released us from bondage of these institutions. And
not only are we the last, but then when we find it out, we say, well, let me do my due diligence. Okay. Because I started the hold back, but I'm not gonna hold back.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
These same people, I've heard people say, well, let me do my due diligence. It just don't sound right and everything. And then I might pass them because, one of my little stress relievers is going to the casino every now and then and shutting down my mind. But the same people I'll see feeding $100 bills into a machine. I go, but I know the odds, okay? And I know the odds are in the house favor. And I think about it, they took that same money and invested in something, took a long shot. I bet something would have to hit, and they'd make a lot more money than they ever could get a return from that one-armed bandit, they call it.
Absolutely. And, I think about, as I am also a licensed cosmetologist, and I think about when we first started doing hair, they didn't charge. And then when they realized that we were making money, and I'm talking about African Americans were making money doing this thing called hair. Now you want to put regulations and rules and regulations. And I'm not saying that people should not be well versed in terms of the chemicals and things of that nature. But what I am saying is anything that's good and can free you up to be financially independent of these systems, the regulations to oversee what you're doing. So just as a reminder, if you are looking for financial independence, here in the studio with me is my special guest for part 2 of The Future of Money, Mr. Barry White, to talk about cryptocurrency. BitKey. If you're tired of your same circumstances and you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, you got to do something different. And women, I got to talk to y'all now. Come on now. Now, tomorrow, we're going to be in them stores buying that weave that costs $200, $300, $400, $500. Time is coming up.
Don't forget those shoes with the red bottom on.
Oh, the red bottom shoes. I'm just going to take some paint and put them on the bottom of my shoes and call them red bottom because I know better. Wouldn't you enjoy walking that you don't have to put on layaway? Wouldn't you enjoy being financially independent of your credit cards? Because we have to understand that the only thing that most of us will ever own is a car and some clothes. We don't own a house.
Never own a car. They go from one finance contract to the other.
You're absolutely correct. And so even when you pay your house off in 30 years, you don't own it if you don't pay for that property.
To come on, I have to have a show on that too, because we put too much into ownership, and we need to learn how to acquire things and how to build wealth, and how to build that empire, how to be our own corporation.
Yes.
Okay. And a lot of us don't want to know.
No, because once you acquire the information, now it's incumbent upon you. You're responsible. And the problem that I have, question, I put it out there yesterday, so I'm going to put it out there again. And why is the circle so small for those who have the information? And when you try to acquire the information, you got to go through all these mazes. And hey, this is how I got and did what I did. Now, it's okay to talk about all your accomplishments and your pedigrees and all the things that you've acquired. But who are you helping?
Well, for one thing, I'm tired of seeing the same old faces.
I know that's right. I'm tired of seeing them.
We could use some fresh blood. And I know a lot of people in my circle that wants to see and want to mentor people. But you're right. There are all too many that got it, share it.
Absolutely.
Okay. They want to keep it to themselves because it empowers them to be at the top of that hill. And they don't want to bring anybody up there with them, But to maintain generational wealth, the whole idea is empower the village, teach everybody, and everybody prosper. If the dollar circulated as many times in Inglewood as it does in Skokie, Inglewood would look like Skokie.
You're absolutely
Okay,
correct.
somebody's gonna wake up on that and realize exactly how powerful a statement that is.
Absolutely. I would for 6 months, and it was a very humbling experience. However, when I look at the richness that's in Inglewood, and yet because we're being pumped all type of bad food and all type of bad information, misinformation, you have an institution that sits right there, Kennedy King College that sits right there, and it's not the institution should be falling over with students, but it's business fairs in a information where our predecessors and our ancestors have died. Information. There's no reason that any chair in a school should be empty.
No, but I'll put it like this. If I created a seminar and put it in Kennedy King College, I would get maybe 10 people show up. If I could have the same seminar and let's say triple the price and did it in Skokie, it'd be standing room only. Why is that? There are some people that, because they know that information, like you say, is power. And there's others that will say, well, if I get the information, that means I got to do something. I don't want to do anything. Okay. Some people are up. Okay. Some people don't want to be woke up. Okay. And I'm not trying to get to them, but the ones that just need a little shake, I want to shake them up and say that I came from Inglewood. Okay. And I just passed through it. I grew up in Inglewood, and it was a culture there where I loved school. Chastised, I was beat up, I was ran home because I love school. But that's how they were taught. Anybody that was against the mold, and then in the mold I mean of not wanting to stay and wanting to change their circumstances, they were ostracized. We have to change that. We should applaud them, help them, and so they can come back and help us.
Because what I do understand that, and I understand exactly what you're talking about, because I've in recent made some life changes, and anything that makes you uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable.
That's a good word for it.
Because it has to make you uncomfortable. Point where you are tired of being complacent. When you get tired of being complacent and that complacency makes you uncomfortable, that means it's time to move. And the analogy I like to use is that the body was meant to move.
Exactly.
So if the body was meant to move, you're not meant to stay where you've been all your life. And it's unfortunate that so many of our people in the African American community, they do not understand their own wealth.
Exactly.
Also, I learned a very valuable lesson on yesterday. Understand it, but you get that epiphany. Our actions have to be aligned with our words. Have to be aligned with our words. So if I'm speaking prosperity, and my conduct should also reflect that.
Exactly.
Because I could speak in Bitcoin and multi-level marketing, and that's not what we're talking about, but I'm just talking about different subject matters. But if my actions are not aligned with that, it's just like a bunch of clanging that gets no response.
Exactly. And we're learned to criticize. We want to be complacent. We don't want anything that could be life changing or anything like that. Let me give you a couple of examples. I've heard too many times people say, "Oh, money is the root of all evil." You shouldn't be trying to acquire wealth or anything like that. Can you kind of revisit your Bible? It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay. Anytime you put anything before God, then it's a sin.
You absolutely.
But how can money be evil when it can do so good and it can change so many lives and everything else? So I don't see anything evil with that.
Well, I think it's what people don't understand. There's a psychology behind that's been pushed in the African American community. It's been pushed with what we believe to be important, which is dressing.
Mm-hmm.
They sold that concept to us good.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Branson, who owns Virgin, who wears a pair of jeans
Just about every day.
I remember some years ago sitting in one of the penthouses of the guy that owns Electra Records. He had a pair of tore up jeans and a t-shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I think that we need to get out of that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And ladies, I got to break it down. Make it something that's kind of relatable. For those that are natural, but for women that wear weave, you could take the same $12, do the same thing with it if you understand direction that you would spend on $300. And at the end of the day, where is it going? It's going in the garbage because it serves no purpose. It's an inanimate that adds no value other than to perhaps increase your outer exterior self-esteem.
I'm gonna let you get that word out there. I'm not touching that. You don't mess with a sister in her hair. But that's okay. That's the rule of the road.
But if you think about, and I have to use that only because this consumer of goods industry alone, we dominate in spending money, but yet we own a very small percentage of the stores that sell it. So we have to understand and talk about this a little bit. And there's two concepts I want to talk about. One is the concept of inner loop economy. One is letting people know what it is to be, because some people may say, well, this is multi-level marketing that we're talking about. And we're not necessarily talking about multi-level marketing. We're talking about being financially independent of systems. You get tired of living paychecks to paychecks. You get tired of go to Hawaii. Well, you got to pay it in installments because most of us can't pay it in full. And then if we pay it in full, that means some bills not going to get paid so we can enjoy ourselves. Wrong mindset.
Now, the first thing, inner loop economy, and I'm not going to be able to go totally into it, so I'm going to give people a little homework. Black Wall Street. When I say that, the people who have heard a little bit about it only know of the tragedy. Hundreds and thousands of people, the exact number is over 3,000 because it's misrepresented in various publications, were killed, massacred. Okay, but between 1900 and 1912, imagine a city in which, all African Americans resided, and the average household income was $50,000. 1900 and 1912. That would be equivalent to, okay. And I think in the whole state, there was only 8 airplanes and people in Black Wall Street. Okay, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So they got it right. Our history. Why aren't our kids learning about what they were able to accomplish? Why? Because if they knew about it, they would try to duplicate it.
And we also have to understand that a lot of these books, when they're written with an agenda to sway the mindset. Most of the books that our kids are taught of here in the state of Illinois, they come from Texas. So
don't have to say too much about Texas.
But we're gonna leave it alone. But they come from Texas. Anyway, are doing great things here at Sidestreets and Intersections here on IntellectualRadio.com. And I'm so happy to have Mr. Barry White to come back and do part 2. We're going to go to a musical break. But also, before we go to this break, I want to say that IntellectualRadio.com we won the Buzz Off Awards. It was presented to our owner, producer, Mr. Earl Winfrey, the other Winfrey. And are doing some amazing things. So we just want to say we'll be back shortly. Until then. Welcome back to Sidestreets and Intersections here at IntellectualRadio.com. And just as a reminder, if you are looking for an opportunity to host your own show here at IntellectualRadio.com, please do not hesitate to call 708-223-8953. And as a reminder, we are an iHeartRadio station, so please feel free to download the app Sidestreets and Intersections on IntellectualRadio.com. I can be seen via Facebook Live, heard on Spreaker, IntellectualRadio.com, YouTube. So we want to welcome back again my special guest, Mr. Barry White. And let's just talk, because I want to touch, the one thing that I really have appreciated about you over the years is that a lot of times you don't even want to know people, you don't want people to, you don't want people to know who you even are. You'll be in a room and everybody's handing out their pedigrees and passing out business cards, and you just sit over in the corner. Like, yeah. And then someone says, well, who is that over there? And then 2 words, much. And let's talk about that, because I witnessed on yesterday. Was at the round table. They were talking about what they did and who they did, and not who they did. Let me correct that. Not who they did, but what they did and what they had accomplished. You said very little to nothing. Let the viewers and the listeners know the power.
First of all, yes, and it is a strategy too, but it's a way of life for me. I'm a very humble person, but I've also acquired a lot of income having that demeanor. And people say, well, how do you do that? You're not saying anything. You're not telling people what you do. But I listen, and I listen to what other people do, and I find them business. Okay. And I find you a contract, and you make $20,000 off that contract. You're not going to forget that. And Correct. You're going to all of a sudden want to know what I do, so that you can hopefully, get me some business so I can get you some more business, right? And that's just how simple it works. If it sounds simple, it's that simple, okay? I am an entrepreneur. I'm the founder and CEO of CSBC Incorporated. That's Corporate Small Business Consulting, where your business is my business. That's my elevator speech if I have to give it out there to somebody. But enjoy being a servant and helping other people. And it's become a business model also. And the event yesterday, we had a breakfast. We met with a group, the Black CEOs, and they decided to go do a live broadcast. And it went viral. We touched about 100,000 people. And I sat back, people, what I do. But I had over 90 friend requests by the time it was all over. And by the way, because I share a name with such a great person like Barry White, if anybody's looking for me on Facebook, just look for that little red sports car. Then I kind of stand out in the crowd. And that's Barry with an A. But just surprised at the outreach. But not only that, the messages. People wanted to know, because, they liked what I was saying.
I think what I thought was so profound is that as I was observing the round table, and it's not to take away from anyone, because there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of success in that room. But the one thing that I thought was more profound is that even though I know you, I was sitting there like, who is that guy? He's not saying anything. And maybe say 1 or 2 things, but each and everything that you said was to uplift. It had nothing to do with you. You never talked about anything that you had accomplished or who you were or anything like that. And to me, that stood out more than at the round table. That's just for me.
Mm-hmm.
And empowering when, like I've come to learn that just because you meet somebody, you're not meeting that person just because, oh, you're so wonderful or, oh, you're so beautiful. Sometimes God is aligning you. Who would have known that we'd still be friends 17 years?
Yeah, exactly.
But he's aligning you. And even though I did not have the maturity back then, kept us aligned because I believe I'm acquiring it now.
Mm-hmm.
So that now I can take the lessons to build my brand. And I think that, let me just say, I'm not saying this because he's my friend, but I'm really going to say something that's really truthful. Each time we get off this air, so we got to find ways to monetize your business. Years ago. And I remember sometimes looking like, huh? Huh? Now, I know I'm not supposed to make those sounds on the air. However, this is real radio. We like to keep it real. I just want to say thank you. I really do want to say thank you because, particularly for women that are trying to find their niche or trying to grow their brand business, it can be very arduous task to align yourself with good people who are not looking to try to take advantage of you,
Mm-hmm.
literally or figuratively, who are saying, hey, there's something about you. Now, once you acquire these skills, I remember you told me to read a book called Who Moved My Cheese.
Yes, it's a real simple read.
It's a real simple read, and I suggest to anyone that's listening to this show this evening that you go out and you get Who Moved My Cheese. It's simple read. Him and ha. And although we want to take everybody with us, sometimes we got to leave people where they at because they just not gonna get it. To cryptocurrency. Now, the big key. I remember looking at I tuned in on my Google. I love Google. A couple of weeks ago, it was $5,000.
No.
No, it was 40.
That was last week. It was $5,000.
Right, last week was 5,000.
A couple of weeks ago, it was 4,000.
Right, it was 4,000, and now it has exceeded.
Mm-hmm. It went up as high as 6,100, and now it's at 5,800.
That is amazing. Mm-hmm. So, what do you suggest anyone who wants to and be a part of the future of money? How do they get in contact with you?
Well, okay, I think I put out there earlier. You can text me. Text Barry White. Oh no, I'm sorry, just Barry to 72727, and you'll get my information, my bio, and it has a contact me form, and they can fill out that form, and I'll get back to them properly. And I'm going to be having seminars because it's been a great demand. And like I said, I got a horse in the race, but I don't just promote that. I want to promote the industry. Teach people how to develop a strategy with cryptocurrency and how to look at it and say, well, you're doing, Barry, but I might have a different direction. I see something in this particular coin. And once they see that, I want them to be able to go out there and purchase it. And here's the number one thing I hear from everybody, but how do I convert it back into cash? Well, one day you won't have to because cryptocurrency is going to be the standard. But for right now, cash being the standard, you can, they have things like BitPay. It's a card that has a Visa logo on it. Visa is accepted everywhere. And so you convert it from cryptocurrency to Visa, and you can spend it anywhere that you use Visa at. And so it's a lot of other ways too that you can do that. I want to teach people that, but more trade, how to day trade cryptocurrency space, helping people. Now, love to put together a series of free seminars. But like anybody else, I kind of put a little food on the table. So, but I'm going to it really concerns me to keep the price down. And so I think the first one will be out just before Thanksgiving. And I'll keep the price down depending on how much it's going to cost me for a venue to around, let's say, the $75, $80 range. Okay. And when they leave, they will have a cryptocurrency wallet basic understanding of how to acquire cryptocurrency and how to do something. Because too many times people come to seminars and they leave feeling good, warm, and fuzzy, but they don't have any marching orders. They don't know what to do. What's the next steps? I'm gonna be sure to give them, a philosophy where they can develop a strategy on cryptocurrency and be able to do something. And so they can, like I said, contact me, connect to me on my Facebook page, on my personal Facebook page. But if you IM me, I'll get your information when I put that out there, which that's a strategy you never promote on your personal page. I got probably about 20 business pages though. So IM me and I'll tell you those. And or either text me or even call me. I can get my number out because we got it going on like that. 708-374-7755. 708-374-7755. Now, I do have a buffer in there. That's my Google Voice number, so I can cut it off, because some people will call you at 2 a.m. in the morning. They get so excited, and even excited entrepreneurs have to sleep sometime.
And you know what? I'm going to say that I think I had a conversation with you, and because when you told me about it, I knew a little bit about it, but I started researching, and they actually offer classes here in the state of Illinois. As a matter of fact, UIC, they offer an understanding what cryptocurrency is.
Yeah.
So the future of money is here. But
it's not the future anymore.
No, because it's
now.
Here. It's now.
It's now.
So the future of money is now. Set aside at least for a month. To all my women, put your hands up. But to all my women out there that like y'all weave, we like our weave. I like my weave. I think I probably changed my hairstyle 4 times this past weekend. Women who like weave, if you could just take 1 month and say, I'm going to investing in yourself each time you get a hold of any type of change. But if you could just take 1 month and say, you know what? Of me, the wool me's of my life. Now, y'all probably going to beat me up when I say this. Recycle that weave and invest the money that you would spend into yourself, because the future of money is now. And I can guarantee you that if you're looking for financial independence, no one can tell you to be hungry but you. Now, we could say to you A, B, C, and D, but look around you. How many of us have gotten up to go to work each and every day, and because of the way things are going now, they could offer you a pink slip at any given moment?
Any given moment.
We're talking about career jobs that we never thought would go away. Now they're offering pink slips because you are pawns in their game. So I want to challenge each and every viewer and listener out there to invest. Women, we spend a lot of money on weave and makeup and shoes and clothes. Now, if we could take that same money and invest it in ourselves. Now, once again, you heard it here on IntellectualRadio.com, Side Streets and Intersections. And as always, I am very, very blessed, very humbled to have you here, Barry White, in the studio with me. And I want to say that, once again, I have to admit, over the years, you've given me a lot of information about economics, and I'm not going to say that I've listened to you most of it. But I'm grateful in that you saw something to push me and say, if you want to be independent, you got to invest in you. And so, but also, the one thing that you always taught is that you have to be humble. Your words must align your business etiquette.
There you go.
And you talk about, too, is making sure that you're on time. And I'm still working with that. Still working with that. I mean, we can't be perfect in all areas. That we just never know where our life is going to take us.
No. Hey, now, my good friend, my best friend, Charles. And I just want to say I'm so proud of him, because over the years, we've known each other, well over 35 years. And he worked in the corporate world. Then then was kind of out there trying to find himself. And now he's finally started his own business. And he regurgitates stuff that I've said to him over the years that, I mean, I said, wow, I said that to you 20 years ago. And he retained it and he's using it in his own business. And he's doing quite well. He has a medical transport business now. And it just does me so proud that to mentor somebody and didn't really realize, I thought it was going on deaf ears. But now to see it in action, I did the same thing with you, to seeing you come, full circle. And, that's what gives me joy. And that's what should give everybody joy to achieve some level of accomplishment, going out and reach back, each one teach one. And there's a power in there that no amount of money can replace. Okay. And if we all had that attitude, we would all prosper as a people. And that's what I want people to understand, that, uh, a lone ranger. It takes a village. We hear that all the time. It takes a village to raise an entrepreneur also, not only a child. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And if we all reach out there and help each other, everybody will do better. Everybody will prosper more. I guarantee you. Okay.
And I just have to say this. I remember you're inviting me to some very prestigious events. And I can recall on many occasions in the forefront, like, she's going to do this and she's going to do that and she's going to do that. And I'm sitting there like, huh? But I'll be sitting here today. I say, wow, thank you. Thank you for believing in me and continue to always push me to do better.
I knew that light was inside there, and I just knew it was about to shine. You just had to have somebody pull it out. And there's a light in you out there, and I see it. I see some people out there sitting on the sidelines, ready, but people are telling you what you can't do, and you're believing them. Stop believing them. Okay. Guess what? If they broke, what kind of information can they give you? Okay.
Broke information.
Right. So get up and follow your dream. Because if you read the book on successful people, they all went against the grain. People told them that they couldn't do it, they couldn't make it, but they did it anyway and they succeeded. So if you feel it, don't let nobody do. That's a record, ain't it?
And let me just put this in there too. Ephesians 4:2.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow the Creator
There
to
you go.
walk with you steps, there is nothing that you won't be able to achieve.
No.
See, most of us think about success, and most of us have success, but because we've been told that we aren't successful,
Mm-hmm.
we can't tap into what's right in front of us.
And success should never be judged monetarily. Success can't be judged by a number.
You're absolutely correct. I want to say on this past week, I have had individuals that I formerly worked with and said, "You touch me." People that I didn't even really communicate with, but they touched and they reached out and said, "Wow, keep doing what you're doing." And so we never know, because we're all being watched.
Mm-hmm.
Big brother watching, everybody watching us. Sure that your actions and your words, because we all have the capacity to impact
Yes, yes.
somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
And wonderful would it be to make sure they can be independent,
Mm-hmm.
because one is not learning until they push themselves beyond what they already know. You again, you're gonna have to come back, because once again, it's too much information
Yeah,
to try
and
to
I
wrap up.
want to get the information out because it's so much. Because people have this negative connotation about sales. You know, Otherwise, if you can't sell, you can't work. You have to sell yourself to get a job. And so people need to know about that. That there's a world out there that they need to see. We're no longer going on a local economy. We're on a worldwide economy, and you need to know how to do business globally.
Absolutely.
Okay, if you don't know how to do business globally, and we're getting good examples these days, okay, with the hurricanes and everything else, that you could have a successful business yard, and your backyard can be blown away, and you're out of business. So you need to have where you can get if one area of your business goes down, you have money coming in from another area.
Multiple streams of income. You always taught me that. And it's funny that you say that because, as you know, I'm working towards finishing my doctorate. And that is my area.
Congratulations, yeah.
Organizational leadership. And so I just finished a 30-page research paper. And we talk about, and in my paper, I talk about globalization, the future of money, how you have to have a respect for cultural pluralism.
I can't wait for the book.
And cultural diversity. It's coming. It is coming. And it is amazing that when you start to open up one book, it opens another book. There are things that are going on around us while you're sleeping and watching hip hop and Empire. I said it. While you're out here watching Empire, we're about hip hop and Gucci Mane and all these individuals. Get money. Trying to figure out how you're going to feed yourself next week.
Wait, don't use example Empire. He's putting a lot of money in our local economy.
Oh,
okay. A lot of Chicago's being fed by Empire. Okay.
But what I'm saying is, they're still finding ways to keep us off focus, and everything has turned into a reality show. But the one thing that we don't take for real is the fact that we're struggling.
Exactly. And believe it or not, anybody that feels tight and struggling and everything, their mind, the way they think. There's a common denominator amongst one thing is what they read. Like you said earlier, Who Moved My Cheese? Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
And there's 4 books in that series.
Yes.
The 4th one is Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. Read that one.
And he also has a board game.
Yes.
He also has a board game.
Cash flow.
Yes, cash flow.
Okay. So say that if you just read those publications, your life will never be the same. That you'll start figuring it out and finding ways to change your surroundings. So crap, like, okay, and I'm in the ghetto. I don't like using that word because it's just as I'm saying, because the ghetto is in their mind. That's the only ghetto. Like I told you, I grew up in Inglewood, and I didn't hear people call it a ghetto till I was grown. They said, you lived in the ghetto? I said, no. You lived in Inglewood? I'm like, nobody told me. Okay.
And it is so important that the way that you think.
Have to.
And allowing others to have that they could use against us. When I say that, is that in the business of giving information, don't just take our word for it. We want you to go research it.
I definitely do. Definitely
go and research what we're saying here on, because I'm accountable for the information that I put out there on the airwaves. Go and research what we're talking about. Don't just take it and research. And once you start to understand how you're being bound by your mindset, these systems can make sure that you are a forever servant, then you'll start to think differently. I want to thank Mr. Barry White for coming
it's
here.
It's been my pleasure again. I look forward to coming back. You know what? I'm going to bring some people with me next time.
Please do. Until then, if you're hungry, it's because you're looking to be fed. I am Angela Champ for Sidestreets and Intersections.